Hello, everyone, and thank you so much for joining us. My name is Khadra. I'm a business anchor and economic analyst at CNBC. Today, we're going to be talking in a quick discussion for 10 minutes about a topic that has been trendy all over the world for many industries. I'm sure most of you have heard the word metaverse or virtual reality. So we're going to talk about these. What are the differences between both of them? How can they impact us and impact humanity? What does it mean for industries as well? And who better to talk about these topics than the one and only Mr. Sam Englebardt, co-founder of Galaxy Digital and general partner of Galaxy Interactive. Hello, Sam, and thank you so much for joining us at FII this year.
Thanks, May. It's great to be here.
So I want to start, so you are the general partner for Galaxy Interactive. What does that mean for people who don't really know the difference and what Interactive is really about?
Yeah, sure. So Galaxy Interactive is a traditionally structured venture capital business. We're now investing our third fund, and we have all of our capital and all of our investments are dedicated to what we call the interactive space, which is the intersection of content, infrastructure technology, and social commerce and markets. So it's really all about this idea that we've been migrating really as a species into an increasingly digital life and into an existence where our digital and our physical lives are really intertwined and almost indistinguishable. And so as that happens, what's the technology that's making that possible? And what are the implications for us on our social lives, our business lives, our careers, our aspirations, our identities?
So this is beautiful. Before we start talking about metaverse and virtual reality and what does it mean for us as humans, what are the main differences between metaverse and virtual reality? And we have another term, augmented reality, and we keep hearing new trends and new technologies. Can you elaborate on that?
Yeah, I mean, this is one where we have a short amount of time, and the truth is we could spend all of it and more on just the definition of metaverse alone. I think it's a term that has been, especially recently, thrown around, and most people mean something different when they're talking about it. But really for us, and virtual reality and augmented reality, those are mediums of content distribution and experience. So each of those are one of several different ways that you're going to be interacting with the physical and digital world. The metaverse, the way we think about it and that I think about it, is really just about this integration of your physical and digital life. And so that infrastructure that allows you to blend those digital and physical experiences, and an idea that in the future, and frankly in a lot of ways, we're already doing this now, but this idea that we have this seamless integration of one identity, ourselves, and the things that we own, whether they're physical or digital, and the activities we engage in, extending across all of these different experiences, whether we're here in a physical pavilion or whether we are experiencing and interacting with people in a digital space, whether that's a social gathering space, a video game, etc.
Okay, beautiful. So where do you see the opportunities and risks when it comes to metaverse?
I mean, the first risk, again, is that you just don't come to terms on what you're talking about and start investing in things or thinking about a future that could be a very, very far way down the road. So there's an idea of the metaverse, and I think it really comes from, most recently, a lot of literature and novels and movies like The Matrix and Ready Player One. And there's an idea that people have that, like, when we say metaverse and what we're talking about, it needs to be that fully realized, entirely immersive digital existence where you plug into a machine in the beginning of the day and you come out only to eat, and like that is something that is like, we are trending in that direction over a long period of time, and I think people will spend more and more of their time in a fully immersive digital space over the decades to come. And I do actually believe, and this goes to the bigger question of the opportunities and the social policy implications. It doesn't need to be a dystopian reality the way that it's so often portrayed, but it is my belief that most people in the world, just given the law of large numbers and our enormous population, most people will have the majority of their peak experiences inside an immersive digital environment. Most people will make their living inside of immersive digital environments, and most people will have their sort of social connectivity and identity inside of them. So that's where we're headed, but today, with the devices we have on us today and the connectivity that's possible today, we're already doing most of this. Most of what we will eventually be doing in fully immersive environments, we're already doing with 2D screens.
So this is what I wanted to mention. I think virtual reality and even for metaverse, it comes from, video games. It's mostly started from video games, and now we're talking about these technologies impacting our humanity, how we interact with each other, even for businesses, how their ability to reach consumers. This is great, and especially for businesses. So how do you see these technologies impacting industries, and specifically these that are dependent on consumers?
Yeah, the importance of video games to this whole conversation cannot be overstated. I've been a media and content producer and investor my entire career, well before I started investing in video game studios, although I invested in my first game studio in 2010, after 10 years of investing and in building film and television businesses. So we always say around Galaxy that video games are really the tip of the spear for all that's happening in this migration to virtual worlds. We now have generations of people that grew up natively gaming, that for them the dominant form of content in their life is video games, and most of their social lives are happening amongst their friends that they meet in game space today. So the experiences and the comfort that they have with digital space, their acceptance that digital objects have as much value and are as real for them as anything physical in their lives, their friendships, their activities. This is all happening as a result of being native gamers, and in a really sort of positively reinforcing cycle, the technology that's been being developed to power video games and the game worlds is the same technology that's starting to extend out into the other aspects of our life, and to make possible these interactions and these experiences that are not game first, but are happening with the engines and the technology that's been built for games. For brands, to go to the last part of your question, so we're still seeing, even in gaming alone, we're just, other than in mobile games where advertising has been present for the entire existence of the mobile game history, which really only goes back, if you think about it, to the iPhone. So 15 years is really all that we've had any meaningful mobile game experience. Brands understand that they need to ultimately be where aggregated audiences and eyeballs exist. So there is no question that brands and I really believe advertising, not just in mobile, but programmatic advertising, the things that we've seen in digital advertising, will extend and be integrated into games. It's more complicated technologically when you have multiplayer games, but no question that's going to advertising will be a huge part of gaming, and ultimately brands will be inside of these game worlds reaching their audiences the same way that they are all over this pavilion and all over our physical lives.
Maybe in the coming decade we're going to start having events in virtual reality, and we're
having them now. We're having them now, and you're starting to see this, and especially in the big game platforms, the ones that have reached some meaningful scale. And you're seeing it in smaller worlds too, but certainly things like Fortnite and Roblox, like this last couple of years has really demonstrated, and it's early days, and so you're not seeing yet the kind of scale and monetization that's possible. But again, what we know, and this is the same thing we're in Saudi, where esports has been such a big part of their story here, and at a time when lots of people around the world are still asking whether esports is going to be a thing, whether it's so undeniably going to be something that monetizes at an enormous level. You can't bring 200 million eyeballs to a place and not find a way to monetize that experience. And the technology is enabling us now to do that in far more interesting, compelling, and financially beneficial ways for brands.
So it's obvious that what we're seeing with technology around the world, and with a lot of new terms that come up every year, the way we live, the way we interact, the way we reach consumers and businesses is changing for good. I want to thank you so much, Sam, for being with us today, co-founder of Galaxy Digital and general partner of Galaxy Interactive. Thank you so much for joining FII this year.
Thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen.